Welcome back. The time right now is 5:53. It is a severe weather alert day here in Central Virginia. Most of the 8 News viewing area under that enhanced risk for severe storms this afternoon. The severe weather threat going to be later than it usually is. Typically, we get the sunshine, the heating of the day, and we start things going around 2 o'clock. That later time frame is now 5 p.m. to midnight. Strong straight line winds going to be the #1 threat. Does it even matter if it's not a tornado that does the damage? If it's 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts or stronger, it really doesn't matter. Straight line winds from a severe thunderstorm can be just as powerful, if not more damaging, than a tornado in some instances. So straight line winds going to be the #1 threat, but tornadoes also possible, along with the potential for some hail. This storm has the history of producing quite a lot. Snow on the back edge, none of that in our forecast. Heavy rain, damaging winds, and tornadoes across the middle part of the country, and that threat now sliding east to us here in Central Virginia. You can see all the way up the East Coast. Let's take a look at that threat. Again, most of the area under the orange here from King William, King and Queen County, portions of the northern neck, Henrico, Hanover, the city of Richmond, Chesterfield County, portions of northern Dinwiddie to the northwest under that enhanced risk. Even if you're under the slight risk back to the southeast, you still have these threats. It's just going to be greater to the northwest. Let's take a look here. #1, as we mentioned, wind damage, the potential for that. Strong straight line winds, 70 miles per hour. Hail and tornadoes, moderate, but still threats nonetheless. It's a warm and muggy start to our day here. Low 70s starting off this morning. We're headed to a high of 87. It's 5 p.m. to midnight that we do have that storm threat here in Central Virginia. Futurecast for most of our waking hours. Again, daylight hours going to be dry. Quickly tomorrow, much cooler, sunny, 78 behind that front. Our next chance for rain rounding out the work week on Friday. It looks wet with a high near 70.
7:30 right now. I'm meteorologist Matt Donardo along with meteorologist Katie Dupree. We are not going to Good Morning America right now because we have an active tornado warning for Chesterfield and the city of Richmond and Henrico counties.
We absolutely do, and that's until 7:45 this morning. So it is headed right into the metro area right now in Chesterfield County. Now, even though we're seeing signs, Matt, that this rotation is weakening under this tornado warning, that doesn't mean that the storm itself is weakening, because we still have very strong winds with the thunderstorm. And not too long ago, we had a severe thunderstorm warning that did just as much damage that a tornado could have done. And just because there might not be a tornado, we are still going to be seeing the heavy downpours, the really gusty winds that very well could be still doing a lot of damage.
It could be doing quite a lot of damage. So we have 2 active warnings right now. One of
No, absolutely, that's good. And the National Weather Service, even though the tornado warning has not been extended into the area, it's now a severe thunderstorm warning. The National Weather Service is still expecting the potential for damage to roofs, siding, and trees. So even though there's not a tornado warning, you hear severe thunderstorm warning, and it might not take it as seriously as you do when you hear tornado warning. You can very well still be getting that damage to roofs, siding, and trees down, things of the like.
All right, real quick here, I'm going to just change this back up.
Also want to mention, too, because it is 7:48, almost 7:49, the tornado warning that was in effect was expired at 7:45. So now we just have severe thunderstorm warnings that we are looking at from here on out. But you see actually the storm track of what we have going on right now. This is still, even though we don't have any active tornado warnings, it's a severe thunderstorm warning. Those of you that are seeing the damage from these same storms can tell you that it is really, really serious conditions.
Very serious conditions. You know, even when we were marking the winds earlier.
Not only that, of course, we're going to focus on Irma because that's the first to impact us. But as of yesterday at 11 a.m., Tropical Storm Jose, that is not the only one. We have 3 named storms in the Atlantic, Matt. As of this morning, the 5 a.m. update brought us Tropical Storm Katia. So a lot to get to on top of our own wet weather expected, completely unrelated to Irma or any of those storms. Just a cold front bringing us shower chances today. But let's get back to Irma. Category 5 hurricane, 185-mile-per-hour winds. This is a catastrophic storm moving toward the U.S. Virgin Islands. The big update this morning is not in intensity. It is with the track farther out. The closer it gets to the United States, it looks like a much bigger shift, either central or really hedging towards the eastern coast of Florida, and that would potentially move up the east coast of the United States, and that's a very different impact from what we were just expecting yesterday. So stay tuned to hear about the track and what we're expecting here in Central Virginia. That would be early next week, but we have to focus on this morning's weather. You might notice here this loop stops. Well, actually, it seems to be that the San Juan radar is now down. Either they lost power or, of course, with a hurricane bearing down, Category 4 with 155-mile-per-hour winds, could be some damage to the radar or a power outage, but that is the last image that we saw out of the San Juan radar this morning. It's now a Category 4, 155-mile-per-hour winds, still set on that trajectory of the west-northwest. It's going to go just east of the Turks and Caicos and then eventually make that turn a little bit more to the northwest, downgrade to a Category 3, but this is where it gets a little bit close to the United States. Do you see it's still well off the coast of the eastern U.S., but a little too close for comfort for a lot of us. We saw changes to the forecast with Irma, and we will continue to see changes to the forecast here with Maria. So our longer-term spaghetti plot models, again, the general consensus does keep it offshore, but we still need to watch it just in case. Let's focus on your extended forecast. Now, throughout the weekend, we have dry, quiet weather. 88 degrees today. Mostly sunny and a near repeat tomorrow, though just a touch cooler, 86. Fall begins on Friday with sunshine and 85. A great weekend, although if you're planning that pumpkin patch, it's not going to be fall-like weather with 80s. And then we are still watching Maria for Monday and Tuesday. A lot of snow. Definitely shovelable snow. That was a little hard to get out. Shovelable snow. I don't even know if that's a word. I think I might have just made that up. But anyways, we need to shovel it.
Right.
Yeah. And it's the light powdery stuff that we're going to get. So it's not the back-breaking stuff. That's great for those that do have to get out and shovel. But it's also not so great for making the snowman either.
All right. And also, this storm system is really just getting going. So why don't you walk us through what we're expecting?
Exactly. So again, those are sort of the impacts. We're not expecting power outages to be a big deal because it's a light, fluffy stuff. It's just a snow event, but it is going to be of high importance for us here. So let's zoom in and really get into this map here. So again, immediate Metro Richmond areas, Hanover, Henrico, at least most of Hanover County, including Ashland. Henrico County, back to the northern neck. This does include King William, King and Queen counties, Tappahannock, Kilmarnock through Dinwiddie, Chesterfield, even to Amelia, Nottoway. You're firmly in that 4 to 8 inch range there. 2 to 4 back to the northwest, so portions of northern Hanover, Spotsylvania County to Louisa, Farmville, Keysville County back west. That's 2 to 4. The bullseye, 8 to 12 inches, is back to the southeast. Wakefield to Williamsburg, Disputanta along US 460. That's where that heaviest snow is falling, 8 to 12 inches. Now that we know how much is heading our way, Matt, take it away for the timing. Is what we're looking at to move in starting overnight, but we'll really feel it tomorrow morning. And this is that system there. So the break in between those two is our weather for today, and we're just watching as this system pulls in moisture. You see the moisture from the Gulf as well. Some rain showers developing along the Gulf Coast. It will sort of merge and be one major system by the time it reaches us. We'll time it out for you coming up in just a moment. Temperature-wise, we're hovering just above freezing, mid-30s, so it's definitely a cold start. Today's forecast to mention a few breaks of sunshine, a high near 40, so a pretty chilly afternoon. Let's break down the snow timeline. The snow moves into Metro Richmond after midnight. It'll begin near the Virginia-North Carolina border around 11 o'clock this evening, make its way northward. 1 to maybe 2 a.m. is when we'll start to see it in Richmond. Steadiest of that snow will be tomorrow morning between 5 and 10 a.m., eventually tapering off in the afternoon. Now, this is a very light and powdery type stuff. It's not going to be great for packing or for snowmen, unfortunately, but there will be a good amount of it. So here we are, 1:30 in the morning. Right through 7:30 a.m. You can see that snow cranking pretty good. It moves out into the afternoon hours, and we might break some sunshine out in the late afternoon tomorrow. So start and finish very different.